Hello everyone, my name is Dhananjay Reddy Manne. I'm part of Informatica Global Customer Support Team. In this presentation, we will be going through how to create Spark staging directory in data engineering integration. Moving on, today's agenda is Spark staging directory, Scoop staging directory, demo summary. Moving on, Spark staging directory. When the Spark engine runs a job, it stores the temporary files in a staging directory. Optionally, you can create the staging directory on HDFS for the Spark engine. For example, you can run the below command and it will create the /spark/staging. If you want to write logs to the Informatica Hadoop staging directory, you don't need to create Spark staging directory. By default, the data integration service uses the HDFS directory. Like it will create under /stem Spark with the username with which the mapping is running. If you have created a custom staging directory, you can specify it in the Hadoop connection. Let me go to the admin console and show you the Hadoop connection. In the Hadoop connection, under Spark, you have the Spark staging directory property for which you can update the value. Like you need to grant permissions to the following users: Hadoop impersonation user, SPN of the data integration service. Optionally, you can assign 777 permission on the directory so that it will not create any conflicts. Like for example, if you are creating staging directory on a CDP data hub cluster, grant access control list permissions for that staging directory to the Hive user and the impersonation user. You need to grant permission to the Hive user, impersonation user, as well as the DAS user, SPN user. To grant ACL permissions, you can run the below command on the CDP data hub cluster. Set FACL command for the Hive user, impersonation user, and the SPN user. Moving on, like Scoop staging directory. When you run a Scoop job on Spark Engine, the data integration service creates a Scoop staging directory named Scoop underscore staging within the Spark staging by default. Like it will create under the Spark staging by default. However, based on the process requirement, you may need to create the directory manually and give permissions to the Hive super user. When you create the Scoop staging directory manually, the data integration service uses this directory instead of creating another one. Like if you create the Scoop staging, it will use the same one. Create Scoop staging directory named Scoop staging manually in the following situation. First one is you run a Scoop pass-through mapping on the Spark engine to read the data from a Scoop source and write data to the Hive target that uses text format. You can use a Cloudera CDH cluster with Senatory authorization, a Cloudera CDP cluster with Ranger authorization, or a Hortonworks HDP cluster with a Ranger authorization. After you create Scoop staging directories, you must add the access control list for the Scoop staging directory and grant permission to the Hive superuser. Run the following command in the Cloudera CDH cluster or Hortonworks HTTP cluster to add the ACLs for the Scoop staging directory and grant the right permissions to the Hive superuser. Like you can run this below command for the Hive superuser, like the Spark staging directory and the Scoop staging directory. You can also provide the permissions for the DS principal name and the mapping impersonation user. Yeah, demo part I have already covered. You can go through this article for more details. We would love to hear from you on our social media handlers. Please give us your valuable feedback over there. Thank you all.